What is going on today, guys? This is Jordan on this beautiful Sunday afternoon. Welcome back to the channel. If you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe, please. I told y'all in my next video we're going to talk about disabilities. Good sweet tea, homemade, fresh, from scratch, believe it or not. Sitting out here in this beautiful weather. I wanted to talk to y'all about disabilities. And a lot of people can't understand why a lot of people are born with them. Well, I can actually relate to that. I can't specify why people are born with disabilities. One thing I can say is that autism is one of the most common ones these days. More common than anything. It is a very interesting disability, but it is more common in men than it is in women. Now, it is common in women. Now, I don't know exactly the actual point of how much it is between the two, but I can say men and women both have it. But I can sure say one thing. I happen to be in that category as one of those people. I am a person that does have autism. I may not show it, but if you watch me do stuff and work, how another autistic person can relate to that, you'll see some similarities. Whenever I was born with it, I never thought what to think about it. And actually what's quite interesting about the disability though was that it was not noticed by my parents. It was actually noticed by my kindergarten teacher because she was seeing me doing things with my hands that was different. So she decided to see about me getting tested to see if it actually come back. Sure enough, I was autistic. However, I was not officially diagnosed until I hit puberty, which is teenagers. When I hit 13, that's whenever I was completely diagnosed officially. When I was growing up, I didn't know what to think of it, like I said. But I can tell you one thing. I enjoy having it. I'm not afraid to talk about it. And as a matter of fact, just this past week, Wednesday night church, my church calls it Awanas. I don't know why, but it's just the name that they call it. They call it Awanas, which is Wednesday night church at the church I go to. I was up there because I bring my son up there Wednesday nights, and it ended up being interesting because it was fascinating when I told some of the people about it, because one of the smaller kids, he's about probably 9, 10 years old maybe, 8, 9, 10 years old, and he has it too. But I could very much well see it and all that. Here's my son. And his name is Jordan too. The only problem is that he's not a junior, but you know what?
I'm a junior.
It's always one thing to another. But like I said, all of y'all people on YouTube's out there, the one thing I can say is that autism is a very common disability. It just depends on how God creates you. He has created me with a gift. And I can tell you one thing that did shock one guy at a used car dealership about 10 years ago, actually. It was actually over 10 years ago. It was about spring. I went up there to go look at a truck to see it about buying. Well, when I did, I cranked it up, and you know by how like everybody always says, you wanna listen to it and all that. But the one thing I do is each time whenever I look at something, I don't just crank them up just to hear them run. I also like to hear to see if there's any problems. Because some used dealership people, they may say something's fixed, and it may not all be fixed like you claim it would be. That's why there's only just very few people that I trust when it comes to dealerships. Now, when I cranked it up, this was an old 2000 something model. It was an 01 or 02, if I remember correctly. No, it was a 2001. It was a 2001 Ford F350 Super Duty diesel, four-wheel drive crew cab long bed. And the funny thing is, it had the Lariat seats in it, but unfortunately, it did not have the Lariat package. So I guess whoever the previous owner was, according to some of the pictures that the owner or whoever it was, the salesperson that was showing me pictures of the cloth seats, they were torn up bad. And so I guess they must have put those in there because that was the only thing they could find comparing to cloth seats. Well, when I cranked it up, listened to it run, it started making a miraculous rumbling sound, loud. It was going, which is not normal. And I looked at the guy, and one of the mechanics was out there, and he tried to argue with me of what I figured it was. I told him, I said, I think the injectors are bad, all 8 of them. He looked at me and he said, we just replaced those. I said, if you replaced them, it would not make that sound at all. And so the guy tried to argue with me, and I finally told him, I said, I'll tell you what, why don't we take this to the back and take it up to your head mechanic, and let's get it up underneath there and see if I'm right or not. Well, when we had it taken to the back, popped the hood, unhooked it. It didn't take him no time to unhook it to get to him. And I tell you what, whenever he started pulling the first couple of ones out, you could see from the discoloration that they were bad. And I looked at the guy and I said, look, I can tell you right now that not all of us, especially with people with disabilities, may not be as smart as some people, but always keep in mind, we're not dumb. There's always something that we can always figure out just by listening. I kind of consider myself having sensitive ears. Now, I don't mean sensitive as in like sensitive to noise, to loud noise. I can stand noise. But I believe my ears are sensitive to an opposite direction, to where depending on the sound of the engine or whatever, that's how I know when something's wrong and when it's not. And when I talked to the owner and explained to him that their mechanic tried to argue with me about it, I don't know what happened after that. But I do know I shook hands with him and I told him, I said, once you get that fixed, then we will see about making a deal. Well, unfortunately, somebody else got a hold of it. But here's the interesting part. That truck didn't last no more than about 2 weeks. Turns out there was more problems than what they anticipated. So luckily that I didn't get it. I wish I did, but unfortunately I didn't. But that's why I said that autism is one of the major things that comes to people with disabilities. Like I said, I may be talking about something that may have happened years ago, but I'm just making a point to showing y'all by how people like us with disabilities can always figure something out. And it makes it plain and simple as that.
You hear an airplane?
I hear the airplane. That's my boy pointing up that there's an airplane up in the sky somewhere. It's a prop. It's not a jet, it's a prop, one of them old prop planes, and it's pretty easy to tell. We get a lot of planes and choppers and even military coming through here right where I am. Right where we live at is in a subdivision, but it's outside of town, and right what you're looking at right now is actually about as most woods as I can get to, besides what's over there. Like I showed you on one of my videos, right across the street to where the pond is, that's about as much woods as we're gonna get. We do see a lot of deer out here, but with the neighbors living so close, I just don't ever take a chance on trying to hunt in here. There just won't be no reason to, with neighbors living so close. But like I said, y'all, the one thing I can say, this much is more likely. I enjoy having autism. I may not have it as bad as everybody else, but I will say this much. I do have a friend that I do know personally, I grew up with. He has it too, but his is a little worse than mine. I have saw him do some amazing things. One thing I have saw him do is take an old monitor, like a Dell brand or one of the older computers that's runs slow like hogwash, and turn around, and he will have it fixed in probably an hour, and that darn thing running like you get a brand new one out of a doggone store. I'm not for sure where he is now. The last time I talked to him, which was about 6-7 years ago, before I moved down here from where I'm from. And he was leaving to go to school somewhere up north Texas, and supposedly on top of that, he was supposed to be sorry about that. I don't know what my boy's doing, but he's trying to be a goober. He's funny too. But yeah, like I said, y'all, if y'all are new to my channel, please make sure to like and subscribe. I just want y'all to understand that autism is a way of a lot of people have, but it is very interesting when you do realize that some people doesn't show it like me. I'm going to be signing off here. I'll catch y'all guys in the next video tomorrow, and we will see on what to make on the next video. Y'all people that do view my videos, please like and do subscribe. The more subscribers, the better off it'll be for all of us. That's all I'm asking, is just for some people to subscribe to my channel. Not just only like, but subscribe as well. Appreciate y'all's time. Y'all have a good afternoon. If any of y'all have an evening service church, y'all have fun at church. May God bless y'all and y'all's preacher and everybody else that goes to y'all's church. Let them know about the man who did this video about autism. I want everybody to know that the more people know about it, because of it being so common, the better chance everybody will have to knowing how much common it really is, to get it out there, so people that may not know much about it or know anything about it, all they got to do is just get up and research it. That's all you got to do. That's all you have to do, is just get up online and research autism or Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of it actually. That's actually what I have, is Asperger's syndrome, which is a form of the autism. Y'all be safe out there, and may God bless everybody. Y'all have fun tonight. I'm signing off.